So, welcome to PTU Barbell. We're on episode 13 now with Judoka Megan Fletcher, the bigger sister to Ben Fletcher, who we had on to start with. And she's the only person I know at the moment that's traveling around the world and in different countries. And we've managed to finally get her on the podcast. So, welcome, Megan.
Thank you very much for having me on. And finally getting on together. We've been trying it for a few weeks now.
Thanks for coming on. We obviously want to know, that I'm going to get straight away out of the way, who's better at judo, you or Ben?
Ben. You're trying to stir the pot, but, if we go off going off of results, it's definitely Ben.
Yeah, but you're not injured.
No, that's true.
Is that because your category and division is more competitive?
God, you guys are really stirring it today. No, Ben's been consistently at the highest level for a longer period of time. In the last kind of 3 years, I've really kind of started to come up. So he's been there for longer, even though he's the younger one. Just took me a little bit longer to kind of get myself up to that last little kind of step up to the world tour. But I've had a really good last couple of 3-4 years. So
from where I'm sitting. And from what I'm looking at, it's more like 7 years because you won the Pan American Open in 2014. I mean, that couldn't have been an easy tournament. You won, for people that are listening, you won a bronze medal at the European Open in 2017. This is just what I've got off of straight away that I could see. And you also won a silver medal in the Grand Prix of Marrakesh in 2019. So the last 7 years, you've been pretty dominant on the circuit.
No, it's been like a gradual increase because for us, there's anyone who's on the world tour. Once you win kind of Grand Prix medals, you're really in a chance then to kind of be qualifying for the Olympics. So for me, making that step from the World Cups to the Grand Prix took a little bit of time. So I was consistently winning medals at the World Cups, but then I won my first Grand Prix medal at the start of 2019, and then I won 4 that year. It taken me a long time to kind of make that jump, and then it was like a snowball effect. That was the best year I've ever had, finishing 7th at the Masters, 7th at the Europeans.
Okay, so for idiots like me then, World Cup's like your Premier League, and then the World Tour's sort of like your England versus like Brazil sort of thing. Yeah. Okay.
They're still internationals and you still get world ranking points, but say if you win a World Cup, you get 100 points. If you win a Grand Prix, you get 700.
Oh, shit.
Grand Slam's 1,000. So the actual weight of the points for those competitions. So if you want to qualify for the Olympic Games, you have to win medals at Grand Prix and Grand Slams. Especially qualifying through Europe, it's a really hard continent to qualify through. So if you want to, you have to win those medals. So it was a real kind of turning point for me at the start of 2019, winning that first one. And then I made my first final, then in my next one. And it just that was a real special one actually in Marrakesh because Ben won it and I got silver. So it was, that was a real special one.
Oh, awesome. So did you two grow up fighting each other? I know he's mentioned, obviously, it runs in the family, judo. So what started you? Was it just because it was in the family or did you really enjoy it? Or why did you get into it so much?
So it was just because it was in the family. I was absolutely devastated that I had to go. I was a shy kid. And the thought of having to go to a session with all these other kids and I remember, I think I cried for the first month I got taken, but my mum and dad were adamant that they wanted us to go, It was for lots of reasons, for self-defense. It kind of, it's made my character as a person now. There's so many reasons why they wanted us to go. But I was really not happy about it to start with, and then here I am 25 years later, still doing it. It's my job and I love it and I wouldn't change that. Just a bit of a rocky start.
Yeah, you're fucking smashing it now. I think I remember seeing you probably must have been 10 years ago now at Pulse 8 at the gym, with Ben and that lot. So do you feel like the gym has advanced your career and when did you start actually lifting weights?
Oh, 100%. The gym is the foundation of any athlete's career. That's what makes your body work and function properly for your sport, but also to prevent injuries. So I started doing weights when I was quite late, actually. I think I was about 16. One of the other judo players from our club, he was a PT. He started writing our programs. And then I kind of got onto the talent athlete development schemes and I then had an S&C coach through that. And then when I moved to Bath, I had an S&C coach. We did weights 3-4 4 times a week. You know, it's been like the foundation of my career. You know, especially in a sport like judo, it's contact. You're like physically throwing someone's trying to arm lock me, trying to strangle me. You know, like my body needs to be resilient, and without being in the gym, that wouldn't be possible. So I think it's one of the most important things in my training.
Megan, did you play any other sports when you were growing up?
I did quite a few things. I did swimming, gymnastics, horse riding, then judo, ballet. I hated that.
We should get you and Ben back and do some ballet lessons. Though. That look excellent.
I mean, it's like
Did Ben cry when he had to go to ballet?
I don't think Ben went to ballet. I wish he did. That'd be amazing. I think he got to go to football, but I wish he got to ballet. That'd be amazing. But yeah, it was like it got to the point where our club was really competitive. It's Pinewood Judo Club, which isn't like too far away from where you guys are, and you know, the expectation is that you are fighting every weekend. So that kind of just took priority. It was kind of like a fork in the road, and everything else got pushed to the side, and that was it. You know, our parents taking us away every single weekend. Sometimes we'd be in Holland on one day and we'd be in Devizes the next day. Like, it was, when I think back to what they were doing, my mum was a nurse and working nights, and then she'd get in the car and drive us like up to Manchester. You know, it's just absolutely mental. When you're a kid, you have no idea that like what that is, and now just think, you know, absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, man, massive respect. Your dad's like the funniest guy ever. I'll tell you a story when you come over next.
He said that.
He just took the piss out of me, basically, which is kind of fine. I get it. So for anyone, so obviously we're in predominantly Winnersh Reading. So Pinewood is actually world renowned, actually, isn't it? Really, in the judo world, you've got so many champions coming out of there. And I think wasn't your coach there like a really good coach for lots of people as well?
Yeah, so Don Warner was a coach there for God, absolutely years and years. No, unfortunately, he's passed away now, but that was his life. He lived at the judo club. He had a little flat attached to it.
Oh wow!
He kind of, you know, it's quite sad. He was married, and then he ended up kind of, you know, his wife had enough of him like being at judo all the time. So like judo was his life, you know, and he took us everywhere, like to competitions, and he's had, you know, Olympic medalists, world medalists, European medalists have all come out of that club. It's incredible when you think about how many came through like from his coaching.
Yeah,
his legacy is, and I mean the club's still going. It's in different hands. Like Don passed on to someone that he wanted to pass it on to before he passed away, and so it's still going. It's still there, and it's weird. Even though I haven't trained there for years, my club is still Pinewood.
Yeah,
it's like that. You kind of got that bond there, and it never goes away.
Yeah. Where are you training now then? Like I saw you're like obviously on the Team Bath website and stuff, but obviously you say you're in Ireland at the moment. Oh, I don't know if we said already. You're in Ireland at the moment, doing some training. So where's your home base at the moment, and what does that look like? What does your training look like as well?
So pre-COVID, my base was in Bath. I've been there for the last 12 years. I moved there for uni, and there was a really good training group based there. And one of the main reasons I moved there was from one of my other coaches, Jürgen Klinger, German guy who moved over to the UK. You know, he's produced Olympic champions in judo. And so I was with him for 12 years, but then his wife moved back to Germany and he moved with her. So we were going to just do the tour together. So, you know, we're on the road all the time. And then COVID hit. So I've seen him twice in the last year, which has been difficult. But yeah, at the minute I'm spending quite a bit of time over in Belfast with my Irish coach, Kieran. Which is great. There's a nice little training group over here. We had to get a bit imaginative in COVID times. It was quite difficult. I like recruited my boyfriend, bless him, who doesn't do judo. He was like, I was on FaceTime calls with my coach, and he's like, you know, really finish the throws. And I'm like, I've never really thrown him before, Kieran. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like burying it. Bless him, you know. And
anything to spice up life, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Me and Ben tried doing a bit of judo together, but that did not end well. No.
Did you beat him?
No, he can't play. Like he's so big, and we wouldn't end up killing each other. That's why I had to recruit my boyfriend. You know, he thinks he's like not using all of his strength, but I can't do anything. It's just like, I can't explain. It's very brotherly, sisterly love, you know. Yeah.
Awesome. What's your like your biggest tip for like young, well, especially young females as well? Actually, it's quite nice to have a female on, like young females that may be looking into going into self-defense. Would you think judo is a good one for that, or choose something different? Or what's your thoughts on the whole moving into judo as part of like, I don't know, like a young girl's journey into fitness or martial arts and stuff?
Obviously, I'm really biased towards judo.
Be biased. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Like in terms of
Judo's
like
the best. Don't do anything else.
end of conversation. No. For me, like as a sport, it's got a little bit of everything. You know, it's a grappling sport, and there's so many other elements I think that kind of bring it together. Okay, you're not punching, you're not kicking, but actually, in terms of, I think it has a massive power to like give you confidence in yourself. If I think about myself as a kid, super shy, Ben was the same, like really shy kids, and like where I am now, and I know a massive part of that's come from judo. You know, like you're challenging yourself every single day when you're doing a high performance sport, and when you can see yourself achieving goals, and you can see yourself like getting stronger, you're getting fitter, you know, you're winning more medals, you know, all of that like builds your confidence. And you know, there's lots of obstacles that kind of anyone in sport has to overcome, injuries, you know, there's always kind of like barriers in the way. But as a sport, I think it's absolutely brutal. But when you succeed at it, it makes it that much sweeter. You know, I have a kind of, soft spot for any combat sports. And I think like the more girls that we can get involved in it, like I'm actually kind of speaking as a lady, she's involved with Irish Judo, and she really wants to kind of increase the numbers of girls doing it. You know, just at grassroots, it's not about kind of making the next Olympic champion. It's just about, you know, getting people into the sport that can get so much from it. And I think it's something I would really like to be involved with in the future. And back at home, back in Wokingham as well when I retire.
When you retire.
Megan, have you had any people that you've that have inspired you when it comes to judo? Or maybe any other female athletes that you've inspired to?
I think I was really lucky that when I was younger, you know how I said that at Pinewood they had a lot of athletes who were like performing at the highest level, and one of them picked me to be her training partner. And I basically got beaten up from like the age of 12, but it showed me how like I needed to train, you know, to become. She was European and world medalist. So I went to like 2 Olympic Games. So her name was Georgina Singleton. So for me, you might not know who she was, but for me growing up, she was really someone that I looked up to. She was in the sport that she was doing everything that I was aspiring to do. And I got to be by her side while she was doing it, and actually got a really good look at kind of how hard it was. You know, I saw her at her lowest and at her highs. So I kind of had, it's still hard when that stuff happens to you on your journey, but like I actually saw kind of the reality of what high performance sport is, like really close contact to somebody. So I think like that for me was a massive, massive learning curve. And this is going to sound super cheesy, and I don't know if you want to listen, but like Ben has been through so much stuff in judo, and like when I listen to some of the podcasts he's done recently, and I think back to like everything that he's had to overcome, like I'm so proud of him. And like when I see what he can do and like what he's had to push through, it sounds super cheesy.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's all right. We can edit it out.
Yeah. No, but you know, like that's someone. You know, we've always said that it's so nice to be able to go through all of this stuff together, and it's horrible. Like especially, you know, like when he got hurt in Tel Aviv, like it physically like hurt me.
Yeah.
You're like on that journey together, like you know exactly what that means. But he's just incredible, and I know I get to see that firsthand. You know, is not someone who's famous, and you know I've got no kind of relationship with that person. Like he's my brother, and like just you know he's had so many injuries like coming into major events. You know, he got injured just before the Commonwealths. He got injured before the European Games. He's injured now, but it's like it doesn't stop him. So it's like for me, I'd say those are probably the 2 people, really for me that I think have had a big impact on me in my
nice
career.
Yeah, man. The kid's resilient. Ben's resilient, man. And also, you know, just like I think he's like just that down to earth kind of tough guy. You know, like he's really nice to your face, but you know he's gonna like kill you if you hurt him.
Got this dark side.
Yeah, you definitely see that sometimes. So, growing up, then was you two just fighting each other a lot? Do you think like I thought you was younger than him, but you're not? So was you whipping his ass?
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a massive compliment.
Yeah, no, for some reason I thought you was. I don't know why. But yeah, was you whipping his ass growing up then?
To a point, yeah.
Until you got to like 16.
Yeah, pretty much. We used to be allowed to train together when we were at judo, but we got to that kind of teenager phase where we hated each other and literally had to split up. So like senior other athletes on the class had to like split us up halfway through the session because we'd be like, like dropping an elbow in if you're like throwing, like landing on each other, or like just being dicks, like not letting the other one throw, like really resisting, just being brother and sister. So it got to the point where like it just wasn't a good idea for us to be training together.
We had one of Richard's coaches on the podcast episode before this one, and he the Gracie's son broke the Gracie's dad's arm because the dad didn't want to tap, and he just went okay.
Oh my God!
He just broke it. That's where it got to if they had to break you up.
It's like, if you're going to be that stupid not to tap, I'm just going to break your arm.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
God. But yeah, I do remember my mum telling us, like, when we were younger, we used to like fight each other in the house quite a lot. I think we used to be obsessed with Power Rangers. So we'd like launch ourselves off the sofa, and like just it got to the point where we weren't allowed to watch it anymore. And yeah, we weren't allowed to fight each other at judo anymore.
What colour was you though? What was you going to go for? Which Power Ranger?
I think I was red.
Yeah, I bet.
What colour was Ben?
Pink.
Pink.
I'm going to go with pink. I can't remember, but I'm going to go with pink. But yeah, he's just got to the point. He's too big for me now. He's too strong.
Yeah.
So
just a beast.
I got the beatings in while I could when he was younger.
At least your boyfriend won't mess up.
He knows how to stay in line.
Do you know what? So at the start of it, he didn't know any judo, and now he can give me actually a pretty good fight. I've taught him too much.
Yeah.
I think he'd be pretty good because he plays American football. So he's got like no fear of like being thrown or like, the contact stuff, which is a big part of it. But I've taught him way too much now. He gives me too much of a good fight, which is good.
When you're
it means you have to up your game.
Yeah, exactly. I have to up my game now.
What's your favourite throw? Obviously, I think we asked Ben. I can't remember what he said, but what is your favourite throw? And then try and describe it to everyone because obviously they'll either be listening or watching it on YouTube. So.
Oh, okay. Well, my favourite though is called Uchimata.
Oh, nice, yeah.
It sounds really weird trying to explain it. You use one of your legs and you go through the middle of their legs and you flick them over. So you kind of like, you lift them up with your back on your hips and you flick them up over with your other leg.
Dramatic throw, that one.
Yeah. It's like, when you get something, I don't know how to explain it, you get it perfectly timed, it's like the best feeling.
Yeah, you've won. If you've got that one, you've won. You're like... No.
Like, effortless. Oh, it's like, the best feeling, like,
Aaron, one of my memories when we were at Pulse 8 was you were showing me your judo and you did it to me. And I was like, that's cool. And then I did it to you. And I don't think you realised that I did judo when I was a kid as well, not for as long as Aaron did. And I flicked Aaron over the top of me and you should have seen his face. It was like, whoa, you know that too.
So what's your favourite throws?
I don't know the Japanese names of them. I do jiu-jitsu, so we do some of the judo throws. We've got one of the lads, Fraser. Do you know him? Fraser White, I think it is.
Okay.
He comes in, does like a judo session for us on a Tuesday night. So normally if it's Brazilian or if it's Japanese, it goes over the top of our head and then we just do the throw. I think is it Ippon Sanagi or something like that?
I was going to say. I like that one.
Yeah. That's probably the only one that I can recognise.
No.
Yeah. Or
good choice.
I used to like the rugby tackle when they used to be able to do it, but they took it out, didn't they? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't even know what it's called.
You like run at them and just take their legs apart, basically.
Oh, Mortagari, when you like lift them up.
Yeah. And then the other one is the old school classic that every kid does at school, where I can't remember what it's called. You put your leg out and just throw them over your leg.
Taitoshi.
Yeah, that's it, Taitoshi. Everyone does that at school. That's a classic.
Yeah, that is a classic.
That's a classic throw. If you don't do that throw, you ain't been in the playground.
You don't know what you're doing.
You've never been in a playground fight. So those two, I like them. And then, Ponce and Nagi, that's get underneath them. But it's a difficult one. If you don't get it, you're very vulnerable as well, I guess.
Yeah, well, I got absolutely tanked in my last competition with it. I went in for it, and I got. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you go in and you stop, I got counted absolutely massive.
What did they do?
I should just pick me up. She just picked me up and dragged me backwards. You're like a sitting duck, aren't you? Yeah. If you get the timing wrong, I went in, I got the timing wrong because I've been trying to work on it recently, and I got in for it, and yeah. You don't get enough sleeve, and you don't drop hard enough, and work in progress. Hopefully, it'll be flying by July when I really need it at the games. So talk to us about the Olympic Games. Have you qualified? So I'm in qualification at the moment, but it doesn't finish, which is good, but it's not finished yet, the qualification for us. So there's 3 tournaments left. So we've got the Europeans next week. There's one more Grand Slam in Russia. I'm not doing that one. And then the World Championships, they've decided to put in 6 weeks out from the games. Not really the best idea. We haven't been fighting for the last year, and they've just whacked. It's fine, putting qualification events in, but then you put a World Championships in 6 weeks out from the games. No one can have any prep for. Do you know what I mean? Because the World Championships is the second highest point scoring events on the rankings. So that could be a complete game changer for the ranking before the games. But also, you've only got 6 weeks then to prep for the Olympics. So it's all a bit. It's a really unusual way of anyone qualifying for the games. But I suppose it's been a weird kind of last year for everybody anyway. That's cool. So let's quickly reverse engineer that. How long does your prep take for a competition? How long would you normally prep for? And what does that actually almost look like? Are you tapering your weight sessions? Are you doing more like Randori style competitions? So how long, to say you was going to peak for the Olympics, how long would you take to do that normally, and World Championships, and how much rest would you take after that? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So my year would be completely periodized. So I'd know my year plan from January for the whole year. So I normally have 2 peaks, which would be for the Europeans, which are normally around April time, and then it'd be for the Worlds, which are in August. And it's exactly that. So I have 3-4 months of build up. We have a general preparation phase, we have a max strength phase, we have an explosivity phase, and then my conditioning changes in those phases along with my weight sessions. The Randori changes, the kind of type of Randori that we're doing. And then normally we'll have a final preparation block where I do 10 days we have 2 test fight days. So, really intense kind of block going into those events. And I'm a real kind of sucker for planning. That's how I've done, my whole career has been like that. And now it's the whole table has been flipped up, and it's the complete opposite to what I'm used to. So it's been a real big adjustment. There's no periodization anymore. There can't be, really. There's a little bit of it, but it's nothing like how a traditional periodized plan would look. And that's been quite hard to get my head around. It's you're probably, I reckon you'll be fine to adapt. You got this. Well, you either adapt or you sink. Exactly. That's kind of how it is. And it was hard to start with, and it is. I'm definitely feeling really tired now coming towards the Europeans. We've had a really big competition block, which normally wouldn't have been as long as it is now. But then because I haven't competed for a year, I felt really kind of out of my comfort zone being back there. So we've kind of done more tournaments. So I'm coming to the end of that block now. So I'm kind of looking forward. I've got a week off after the Europeans and then 5 weeks to get ready for Worlds. So I'm looking forward to that block of just being in one place. Well, not maybe one place, but able to actually train. Awesome. That'd be epic though if you can make it then, 2 Fletchers gone to the Olympics. No, it'd be so good. And the thing is, Ben, hopefully everything's fine with Ben. He's high enough in qualification that we don't think he'll drop out. Because in Ben's weight categories, normally there's kind of 6-7 of them that always get the medals. And Ben's normally one of those. So the ones that are behind him, I think Ben's maybe 11 on the ranking. You have to be top 18 to like directly qualify. It goes lower than that, but to directly qualify in the green. And I think he's like 11. So for the others underneath him to like all win a Grand Slam and jump him is quite a big ask.
Oh, sick.
But in my weight category, probably everybody in the top 25 can get the medals.
Oh.
So it chops and changes a lot. And like,
you never thought about just putting on some weight?
Do you know what? My dad said the same
go
thing.
up to like the 80s or something.
I have to work really hard to be like over 70 kilos. Like it's a real kind of,
yeah.
You know, my dad said that to me years ago. He was like, "What? Actually, the weight category above is easier." So that's another reason I don't really want to go up, because it's kind of got this persona in the judo world. It's like, oh, it's 78. You know, it's not really as strong. 70 kilos is a real strong. It's getting stronger, and that sounds really mean, but like that kind of is the perception. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to like do it in a hard weight category.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realise. My coach told me a couple of competitions ago that my weight category has the highest point scoring. So like 70 kilos, that's in the men as well, is like the highest scoring points, because all of us get medals. So like if I do get there, I've like really achieved something, you know, like I've qualified in the hardest weight category after all of this craziness as well. So
yeah, that's fucking awesome. You got this.
Cool.
Megan, who's the most competitive nations out there when it comes to female judo?
It's pretty standard, like for men and women, really. Like there's a really big nations, like Japan is really strong, where it originates from. Countries like Brazil and France. Like it's France is their national sport, so it's massive over there. But there's a lot, you know, judo, I think at the Olympics is the sport with the most participated countries. So you have a lot of like the stands, like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, you know, and they're kind of, you can really see now their women's team are coming up as well. The Uzbekistan girl in my weight category, she's really good. Mongolia are always strong. But it's a real wide mix. But I'd say like, you know, France, Japan, Brazil are like, and Russia, you know, it's quite a long list actually of countries that are strong. But I think Japan will be really looking to kind of get a good haul of medals.
Wow. Especially being at home.
Yeah, well, there's been some crazy selections, you know, because it's a home games. They automatically get the spots. So there's been some weight categories that have been like really like hard to make a decision. Like in 66 kilos in the men, they've got number 1 and 2 in the world, and had a fight off to decide it.
Yeah,
it was like heartbreaking. It was like they had a 25-minute golden score. It was like ridiculous. Like the fight was like unbelievable. And then the score was like not really a score. Like there's been so much like controversy about it. And then, you know, like the guy that lost, there's so many people think that he should be the one going. It's so hard. And then you'll get some person from, I don't know, a little Caribbean country that's got like 200 points on the world ranking, and they'll go. But then you haven't the number 2 in the world. It's really complicated, the ranking system. And I know the Olympics is about sport for all.
Yeah.
Like,
actually, that brings me on to a nice little slide in here. We didn't talk about it. I asked Ben straight away. So why did you go over to the dirty side?
Whoa!
No, I'm joking. What happened? Obviously, you did compete for GB for quite a bit. What happened of that? You know, transfer to Ireland.
So in the build up to Rio, GB had always said that they were going to centralise the programme to Warsaw, in the Midlands, and I knew that I didn't want to move. So at the time, I was working in Bristol as a teacher. I'd had quite a bad back injury in the build up to Rio, and I wasn't sure if I was I got diagnosed with arthritis in my back. They weren't sure if I was going to be able to do judo anymore. So I had my whole support network around me there who'd got me back to doing judo. And I was like, there's no way I'm leaving these guys to go somewhere where I don't really trust the coaching. And, you know, it's the last kind of Olympic cycle for me. I really completely trusted my coach. That's why I moved to Bath in the first place. But basically, if you didn't move, you weren't funded. And I was the number 2 at the time to Sally Conway. So Sally went to the games in Rio and she got bronze, and I was the number 2 to her. And Sauer decided that she was going to move to Warsaw after the Olympics, but there was 3 other young girls in 70 kilos that were also going to move. So they were really straight with me. They were like, if you don't move, you're going to go from being number 2 to number 5. And I was like, God's sake, like, you know, even to get the chance to be able to go and compete, you can only take 2 people to each of the Grand Prix, Grand Slams. And my mum and dad were like, you need to decide really like what you want to do. Like, have you considered maybe changing to Ireland? Because my mum was from Ireland. And basically I was a bit like, I don't even know really if they'd want me, mum. So I spoke, you know, you don't really know.
But you beat that Sally in 2014.
Yeah, I did know, but on the international circuit, you know, she you're such a stirrer. You know, Sal was the clear number 1 for both the games. So she was. And I'm really good friends with her. You know, she beat me fair and square in the qualification. But it was kind of, I spoke to the Irish coaches and they kind of said to me, like, we'd love to have you. And that was that. Like, I kind of, yeah, like after 2016, I kind of, in the build up to that was when I hurt my back. I got back on the mat. We went to watch Ben at the games in 2016 and I went traveling afterwards. And that's when I made my decision. I was like, took a bit of time just to decide what I wanted to do. Then I spoke to the Irish coaches. And then by December, I'd already changed over and had my passport. And yeah, started from there. But like, it's the best decision I ever made, coming to the dark side.
To be fair, that's exactly what like Ben almost said similar sort of thing. And he actually said, you know, it's actually worked out quite well for him. And obviously get more Guinness after training. So what's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we drink at training sessions, you know, there's no water on the side of the mat.
That's what I heard. They want it to be as good as the old Eastern Bloc. So
yeah,
get the Guinness in after training.
But yeah, you know, it was a hard decision. And don't get me wrong, like, I will never forget, really. I went to my first training camp for Ireland and I still had my back patches on my kit for GB and I had to like take them off in the hotel. I remember just sobbing as I was taking them off. Because it was like, you know, that's a massive
over there.
thing. It's what?
It's violent over there.
It is violent over there.
They're rioting at the moment for some reason.
No, they are. But you know, like I was really, like, the thing was, it was like, I wasn't that I was unhappy that I'd moved, like it was what I wanted to do, but like it was the end of an era. And me taking them off was literally like, you know, full stop on that chapter. But
they give you more fire though.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, that's what I mean. Like, so 2019 was the best ever year I've had in my career, but that never would have happened. You know, like everything just felt like, you know, it was the last piece of the puzzle for me. Everything just slotted into place, and yeah, it was the best decision I've made.
Awesome. And now after we could, what's your meals like? I was going to say a joke about Irish and potatoes, but it kind of slipped my brain.
To be fair, I do love potatoes.
Oh, so do I. They're the best thing.
They are the best thing.
So versatile.
They really are. There's a joke actually about our nutritionist, the Irish nutritionist at our holding camp in Japan. She basically told them that there wasn't enough types of potatoes, like, but she was being deadly serious. She's like been like, no, there's just not enough. Like, I think they had 5 different types. She's like, no, it's not enough. And they were like, oh, and she was like, no, I'm being deadly serious, right? You need to get more potatoes. It's not enough.
So yeah, what does your nutrition look like meal wise? Obviously, as an elite athlete, it's going to be probably a lot different to your average human. But yeah, just a little outline what you like to eat, how it looks like, and if you even make it yourself, would you get your boyfriend to do it before you choke him out? Make my meals now.
I'd love to see his face if I actually said that to him. I think he'd choke me out.
Yeah. Now you've taught him.
Now I've taught him. Now he knows. No, so actually, like, nutrition-wise, me and Ben had a few like really weird incidents where we got really sick. Like, we got cellulitis, like infections. And when we spoke to the nutritionist, it was because we weren't actually eating enough bad stuff in our diet. Which I know sounds crazy, but like the nutritionist was literally like, you guys are just eating way too clean. So like we had to, it was, and also like kind of changing my perception about when I needed to eat food and like around loadings of training and all that kind of stuff. So that was again around like kind of 2018, I think it was. I had a kind of revamp of like looking at my daily diet of stuff. It wasn't that I was eating bad, it was just not enough. So actually kind of making a conscious effort to like get more calories in during the day. And she was even like, it doesn't matter if it's a pizza. You literally just need to get the calories in. Which I think.
What's her number again?
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
I need that nutritionist.
Yeah, but it was like one of these things. I think she was really happy because me and Ben were in a similar boat. We both sat quite light for our weights. Like I was like 70 kilos, you know, normally people would cut down. So she's just been like, she works with the boxers as well, who's obviously like, they cut like so much weight. And she used to work with one of the lightweight judo girls. So she's always had to think about like cutting people's calories. When she's got me in bed, she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. We can like just feed you. And, but it's made a massive difference, you know, like in terms of like everything, performance, lifting in the gym, like, and I can really feel if I haven't eaten enough, you know, you can just feel how tired you are. So I think kind of, yeah, I'm trying to get like maybe like 5-6 meals in the day, like plus snacks. It's like all around kind of like the way she described it, she like drew it out for me. It's like always topping it up. Like even if literally it's like a couple of rice cakes and a cereal bar on the way home from training in the car, like that's a little bit extra. Like I'm not going to go into my depletion of my energy levels. It was like one of those penny drop moments. You know, you're like, huh. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't want to say it's an obsession, but like I had a really busy day today. So I had my first session and I had physio, then I had another session. But like this physio session was an hour and 10 minutes. So I didn't quite have enough time to like have lunch. And it was like, oh God, you know, you're panicking a little bit to try and like get the calories in.
Yeah.
But I think, in terms of nutrition, it's kind of like get as much in as we can.
What's your base meals, like your favourite meals to go to?
Ooh. I think like a classic spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, nice.
I think, yeah, you know, you can then have like double dishes of it, double dinner. I think, yeah.
And garlic bread?
Yeah.
Garlic pizza bread?
Garlic pizza bread. Add that in the mix. Sharon, the nutritionist, would be so proud.
Yeah.
Having that on the side.
Rick's
Actually, it says on your jumper at the minute, on your t-shirt.
Yeah, pizza and gains.
Oh, there you go, pizza and gains.
See?
That should be her slogan.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell her that. I've got a meeting with her at 6, so I'll tell her I've got a new slogan for her.
Rich kept on eating this pasta stuff from Winnersh called Coco or something, but I'd never see him order the bread. And they do this bread with like this pesto stuff on it and cheese. It's wicked.
Oh.
Any bread
That
stuff is
amazing.
pesto and bread. Like, what more do you want?
Exactly. What more do you want?
What more do you want? Awesome. Do you take any supplements at all? Like, I know Ben's got his little sponsor and stuff. Are you sponsored by them as well?
No, but they're really nice.
What? Get her sponsored, man.
No, but Ben's real. Like he's really cute. They give him like a certain amount of like money to spend. And it's like a crazy amount. So they basically said like as well, like give stuff to me.
Oh,
like
cool.
he can just re-put the orders in. But I take quite a lot of supplements now because I'm a bit of an old girl doing a contact sport. So just things like, you know, omega-3, probiotics. If I'm doing the max strength block, I take creatine. But then I switch it out for beta-alanine if I'm coming into a competition. And also like, I have got to make weight now. So like the creatine is obviously not ideal to have in the system when you're trying to sweat off. But yeah, like multivitamins, collagen, take quite a lot of stuff actually. Trying to keep my body together.
That's cool. But so that saying that, do you want to let people know how old you are? And actually, that judo's not just about like teenagers. Actually, so I was quite surprised at how old you was. You're not that old. You're only a year older than me. But no, like actually, I was like, you know, you're still competing at the highest level you can compete at. Still, you know, like you think a lot of fighters, they kind of retire in early, or you know, like other sports, you don't tend to like longevity in judo. Like you say, your coach was probably really old, but I bet he was still fighting at some stage. And like I know Rich was saying in his BJJ classes, some older fellas that just know how to fight still. So it's obviously good for longevity as well.
Yeah. So I'm 31. I felt like you were trying really hard not to say that I was really old.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is with judo, as long as your body can handle it, then you know you're able to continue. Like for me, I was always going to retire after Tokyo. So this last year has, you know, the games getting pushed a year. You know, I do feel it in my body, and I feel like I'm kind of it's being held together a little bit at the minute. But you know, that's fine. You know, that's high performance sport a little bit. And then, you know, recreationally, people carry on doing judo till they're like 60. You know, if you know, when you're not doing judo at like high impact all the time and you're kind of like moving and doing like really nice kind of open randori, you can kind of carry on doing it for like years and years.
Yeah. That's awesome. How long do you plan on doing it? Will you carry on training, or are you going to just like once the games are over, that's enough?
I don't know. I feel like at the minute that's enough, but I know that like if I stop doing it for like a couple of months, I'll get the.
You'll get bored and you'll start annoying your boyfriend, and then he'll be like, "Go back to judo."
Yeah, I'll just start attacking him in the kitchen. Oh, I know, he got me so good once. I went in for a throw thinking he was going to block me, and I threw him so hard on the kitchen floor, like full on, massive ogoshi. Then he started going, "Oh, I think you broke my arm." And he's like really good at acting it out. And I was like, "Oh my God, I need to call an ambulance." 5 minutes later, he was like, "Gotcha." I was like, "Oh." Felt so bad though.
Do you ever teach? Would you ever coach or teach?
I think I would like to be involved a little bit with it, but I think it's such a big commitment. You know, it was kind of, that's how I felt when I was teaching at school. So I taught part-time for a little while just to kind of have a bit of extra money coming in when I was injured. And I didn't like doing something like half. I felt like I was trying to do two things full-time, you know, and it was quite difficult. So I think if I wasn't going to coach, I'd need to like be ready to commit myself to that. You know, it's been my life for such a long time being on the road, you know, and that would kind of be the same expectation if I was coaching. So I mean, I'd like to maybe do like carry on doing some masterclasses and, you know, be involved, especially in Ireland, like trying to promote, like getting the numbers up, like I said before, of the girls. I think we've kind of got things in the pipeline to kind of come over and do some kind of demonstrations and, you know, just to kind of get people seeing what it actually is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. They just think it's like judo chop, you know?
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, judo chop.
But I was really lucky. So when I was working at the school, they asked me to do a term of PE with like year 10 girls because they were just having a nightmare with them not wanting to do PE. I thought, oh God, this is going to be like getting blood out of a stone. You know, but actually they were amazing. Like they loved it. Like they were just in their group classes and we did judo with them for a whole term and they were amazing. You know, they were doing something different. So like the feeling I got doing that, I was like, it's actually a really nice feeling coaching, you know, and kind of getting that fire in someone about the sport that you love. So maybe later down the line, I'll get involved.
Passing on the torch.
I just want to have a rumble with you guys.
Yeah, right. I think I'm busy that day.
I'm in the Masters category, so.
All of us are.
Masters too.
Yeah, you can fight with Rich. I'll watch or something. He's more your weight.
I need pizza. As long as I can have pizza on the side.
Yeah, he's more your weight. I'm pushing the boat now for the weight side.
Super heavy.
super heavy. Is there a double super heavy?
It's just open weight. So in judo, it's just like plus 90 kilos.
Oh, sweet.
Plus 100 kilos. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Awesome. We always ask if you've got a quote that you live or train by. Is there something that kept you going over the times? Obviously, like you say, just switching over from England to Ireland, you know, taking off the stickers and stuff of your bag. Do you feel like there's anything that's actually stuck with you all through your career that, you know, actually like you just kind of keep in the back of your mind that when times get tough that you fucking just pull it out and talk to yourself a little bit?
To be honest, I haven't actually thought about it for a while, but there was, before the Commonwealth Games, there was a quote, and if I ever do a in the afternoon speaking, like this is what my thing is based around. It's so weird. I saw it on Twitter, like one of my friends posted it. The quote was like, the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. And I'd got so caught up. It's so cheesy. Like, you know, when you say it, it's like...
The cheese is the best, man. Honestly, that is what sells nowadays.
Like, I was always the number 2 to Sally, or like the number 3, like in the London cycle. And like, I constantly compared myself to her. Like, you know, oh, she's so much better than me. She's so much stronger than me. Like, you know, and it was constantly like, I was inferior. You know, that was constantly what I was thinking. But I saw that quote in the build up to the Commonwealths. And literally, it was a game changer for me. I just stopped thinking about her.
Yeah.
Like, all I thought about was me. You know, like, that's all I've got control about. That's it. You know, like, all I can control is, like, what I'm lifting in the gym or what I'm doing on the judo mat. And actually, like, it completely changed, like, my attitude, like, in general. Well, yeah, I mean, in general life. And then that was the first time I ever beat her. Like, I'd never beaten her before. I think I'd fought her like 8 times. I even rang my mum when the draw came out and she was like, I see you and Sally are on the same side. I was like, yeah, cheers, Mum. Yeah, cheers for that vote of confidence.
Oh, geez.
I even say that, like when I do my talks, I say, and Mum's like, can you not just take that bit out? And I'm like, no, Mum. I was like, you said it, so I'm sorry. Yeah. It's staying in there. You know, typical mum, bless her. She didn't mean to, like, she didn't mean it in a bad way, but you know, like that for me was like a massive turning point. You know, you obviously want to try and be the best in the world. You want to, you know, all those things, but actually, if you bring it back into like what you can control, all I can control is me.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of outside. You know, it's probably a nice reminder for me talking about that now, because there's lots of like outside influences, like, you know, people in the ranking list that are like behind me doing well, and like, again, I can't take. You know, it's been stressing me out recently, and I can't do anything about them doing well. Like, I can only do me. So it's probably been nice, actually, reminding myself of that.
That's epic. That's epic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for coming on. That was perfect. I loved it.
Good chat. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
That's all right. We'll definitely get you back at the gym some point when you're back in Winnersh.
Yeah. Oh my God, the gym's amazing. Like it was so nice being in there the other day. Yeah, it's like a dream. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff in it.
I'm glad you appreciate it. Like, you know, sometimes people look at it and we're like, what's this?
No, I was just like, and there was like more rooms. Ben was like, oh, yeah, there's another room at the back. I was like, what? There's another room. Oh.
Did you meet Gavin, the dummy?
Oh yeah, I did see him actually.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he had a name.
That's Richard's play toy.
It's Gavin the Gimp.
Oh, I love it. But, yeah.
That's why it's in the other room. You can shut yourself in there.
Yeah.
Lock the door.
Private training sessions.
I think on that note.
Yeah.
Or it takes an even worse turn.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on and catching up. It was wicked.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.